Hey, my name is Carter, and this is CoinCarter, where I share everything I know about money. Starting out with credit cards can be scary. Nowadays, we receive a ton of offers in the mail from credit card companies that include welcome bonuses and other strategies. For people like myself, who have been in the world of credit cards for a while, we know about all these things, and we just try to win against credit card companies by sticking to some solid financial habits. Unfortunately, not everyone is experienced enough with credit cards to use them properly. Those who are more inexperienced with credit cards could significantly harm their credit score or budget if they are not cautious. In this video, I wanted to talk about some common credit card mistakes that beginners make the most when starting out with credit cards. Let's get to the video! Mistake number 1. Applying for too many cards at once is the first error people frequently make when they first start using credit cards. Because there are so many excellent sign-up offers available with no annual fee, this is a very simple error to make. The decision to apply for as many of these offers as possible can occasionally seem hard to pass up. You must be patient when applying for credit cards because a number known as your credit score will always be associated with you. This number is something you should always be aware of. A hard inquiry, basically, when a credit card company looks at your credit report as part of the application process, is what usually happens when you apply for a new credit card. The results of these hard inquiries will then appear on your credit report. After a few months, they won't have much of an effect on your credit score, even though they will continue to appear on your report for about 2 years. Prospective lenders can check your hard inquiries to see how frequently you're applying for new credit. If you apply for new credit cards too frequently, it could be interpreted as a warning sign that you're accumulating too much debt too quickly. Because people who are just starting out with credit cards frequently have a very low credit history or possibly bad credit in the first place, applying for too many cards too quickly results in too many hard inquiries over a short period of time. All of those hard inquiries will probably cause your credit score to significantly decline, making it more difficult for you to be approved for future credit cards and loans with the lowest interest rates, like mortgages and auto loans. Therefore, you may not have to wait as long between credit card applications if you have an extremely strong credit score and a long credit history. You should probably take it slow and wait perhaps 6 to 12 months between applications if you're new to using credit cards, have a poor credit score, or have a short credit history, just to be safe. There will be some who would suggest that you shouldn't have to wait this long between applications because everyone has their own circumstances and what works best for them. The best thing is to do your own research. Mistake number 2. Beginners frequently wind up choosing the incorrect cards when they first start using credit cards. There will be numerous cards available, and there may be numerous commercials and postal offers that encourage you to apply for a new credit card. These deals may seem appealing, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're the greatest choice for you. For instance, if we had cards A and B, card A may initially look more enticing because you receive 2% back on everything. Card B normally has a welcome bonus offer of at least $200 while card A typically has no welcome bonus offer, and card B only offers 1.5% cash back on everything. Due to the lack of a welcome incentive, choosing card A over card B immediately results in a $200 opportunity cost. Do not forget the Chase 524 rule. In general, you should prioritize getting Chase cards first before getting additional credit cards from other credit card issuers if you're just getting started with credit cards, want to get more cards in the future, and really want to optimize your worth. You might be able to obtain those later. You should also consider yearly costs. Annual fee credit cards are typically more difficult to be approved for when you first apply, but some people are able to get authorized with only a modest credit history so that they can later apply for credit cards that are more expensive and offer more perks. Even if you are approved, it is usually not a good idea for a newbie to apply for these annual fee credit cards right away. But hey, what do I know? You ought to have a strategy for beginning with a simple card. The Discover It card, which has no annual fee, is a wonderful alternative. You can then receive a Chase card like the Freedom Flex or the Freedom Unlimited after using that for a year. Use those 3 cards for a year or 2 to raise your credit score, then consider annual fee cards if they make sense for you. Some seasoned credit card users advise using the Chase Sapphire Preferred at $95 annually to complete the fantastic Chase trifecta. Mistakes number 3 and number 4. The two mistakes are using the whole amount on your credit card and failing to handle your credit card like currency. These errors will be combined because they both relate to spending. Treat credit cards like currency and only use them to make purchases if you have the same amount saved up in cash in a different bank account, especially in the beginning. In this manner, the credit card debt is fully satisfied. Some people believe that if a bank grants them a $5,000 credit limit, they may just borrow money whenever they want without having to worry about repaying it. The majority of credit card firms rely on you to not consider how or when you will repay the debt. They intend for you to not bother to read their cards when they send them out. These businesses are aware that they can charge customers very high interest rates of, on average, 15 to 25% if there is a balance due at the end of the month that is not paid in full. These businesses benefit from a simple profit that goes straight to their pockets. If you don't pay back the money you borrow from credit cards on time, it may become an expensive way to fund your life. Credit cards are an extremely risky way to borrow money. Therefore, only use credit cards if you are certain that you will treat them like cash and pay off the balances on time and in full each and every month. If not, the 1 to 5% cashback or travel points you might receive will be outweighed by the 15 to 25% interest you'll be charged. Each credit card holder will be aware that they have a certain credit limit, some of whom will utilize it in full. However, if you use a large portion of your credit limit all at once, your credit usage will rise. Along with payment history, your credit usage is one of the two main factors determining your credit score. About 30% of that score will be impacted by credit utilization. A credit card's balance divided by its credit limit is known as credit utilization. So, for instance, if you had a credit limit of $5,000 and a balance of $100, your credit usage would be 2%, which is quite low and actually a good thing. It demonstrates your financial responsibility given the credit limit, but if you have a spending problem and end up with a balance of $4,000, perhaps because you went shopping, bought groceries for your family for the month, or something similar, that represents an excessive credit utilization rate of 80% and will probably have a negative impact on your credit score if it is reported to the credit bureaus. You should therefore be aware of your credit card balances in relation to your available credit, both individually for each card and collectively for all of them. The most crucial thing to do when it comes to managing your credit cards responsibly and treating them like currency is to adhere to a budget and maintain organization so that you are aware of your spending patterns. Mistake number 5. Offering a 0% APR is another marketing gimmick employed by credit card companies to attract new clients. It sounds fantastic that they will offer 0% interest for possibly 12 months. You are allowed to carry a balance, merely make the very minimum payment due each month, and pay no interest. I personally never take advantage of these offers for a few reasons. First, even if you use a 0% offer to pay for a larger one-time expense like a vacation, a new television, a piece of furniture, or something else, it's still dead, and you still have to pay it back eventually, whether it's 0% interest or 25% interest. Paying it off over the course of a year in monthly installments rather than all at once may sound great, but you should first consider whether the purchase itself is worthwhile. If you can't afford it, pay for it completely in cash upfront. Otherwise, you will have to make an additional monthly payment, which will reduce your monthly cash flow. If you're careless and miss a payment, your interest rate could rise, which would put you in a difficult situation. Second, you should take into account credit utilization once more. As a beginner using credit cards, you are probably going to have lower overall credit limits, so even if you carry a balance with no interest charged, that balance may be contributing to your higher credit utilization, which is generally kept at or below 10. Therefore, while paying no interest during an introductory period may sound appealing, if you miss a payment or don't pay off your bill in full by the time that introductory period expires, it might harm your credit score and cost you a ton of interest. Due to those factors, as a newcomer using credit cards, I would just avoid 0% offers. Again, get no annual fee cards to begin with, use them properly by charging all of your regular expenses to them, pay them off promptly each month, and move on. If you are unable to do these things, I would suggest considering not using credit cards at all. I am aware that some people use these introductory 0% offers to strategically move their high-interest credit card debt to a card with a 0% APR so they can pay it off a little bit more quickly in the near future. That might be helpful for some folks, but remember that this film is only meant for general audiences. I am aware that everyone is in a different position, but this is just intended for beginners. So, I advise sticking to the fundamentals. You'll be good to go if you pay off the balance on your credit card on time and in full each and every month. Final mistake. Okay, so for the final error in this video, we're going to discuss canceling a credit card with no annual fee, which is a really easy mistake to make but one that many people do all the time. Thus, a lesser element that contributes roughly 15% to your credit score is the length of your credit history. And since I've already mentioned that as novices, we should prioritize obtaining credit cards with no annual fees. The credit accounts with no yearly fee will have the longest average age for us. Some individuals claim that since they no longer use a certain card, they should probably just close it. However, closing that credit card account will eventually remove any connected credit history from your record. Even though a closed card won't immediately disappear from your credit report, it will continue to appear there for another 7 to 10 years, so there's really no reason to keep it open if the annual charge is 0. But with regard to annual fee cards, things can be a little bit different. For instance, if you decide the $695 annual charge on the Amex Platinum card is no longer worthwhile, you should cancel the card because there's no sense in spending that much money each year to keep an account open. But always make sure to check twice before terminating a credit card account with an annual charge because there may occasionally be a downgrade option into a card with no annual cost while still keeping the same account active. When comparing the Sapphire Preferred, $95 annually, and Sapphire Reserve, $550 annually, from Chase, we see that both cards have the option to be downgraded into no annual fee cards with the Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited, allowing you to maintain the same account while also paying no annual fee. It's actually a win-win situation for you, so think carefully before applying for a credit card with an annual charge. Also, make sure there is a downgrade option because, otherwise, you could have to delete the account and gradually remove all of the credit history from your report. Otherwise, if it's just a credit card with no annual fee, I advise keeping it open indefinitely. That was a lot. I think I'm going to go nap now. If you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment about any credit card mistakes you have made and how you learned from it. And thanks for watching CoinCarter. It really means a lot to me. I hope to see you again. Bye!